Hey Kings of Dragons, Ryan King 551 here, and we're back with another March Madness / Michigan video. Obviously, this one's all about Michigan's incredible performance against a very tough team who played fast and physical, LSU. Now, obviously, I'll show you the highlights of the two best players that Michigan had last night, who each scored 21 points. That would be Eli Brooks and Shawnee Brown. So obviously I'll show you our top scores with a box score later on in the video. And then I'll also show you all the highlight reel of those two players. So after that, I'll show you the box score and then I'll tell you all the players. So enjoy the highlight reel. I'll catch you back and then I'll show you the box score and then we'll talk about the rest of the game.
You bet. Eli Brooks carrying Michigan early. But, you know, to put it in perspective, Cam Thomas is number 6 in the nation in free throws per game. That's a good move. But, and you know what? You can see LSU in the half-court defense.
As Brooks finds an opening, and his three banked in. LSU is shooting 51%. Michigan at 60%. Dickinson back to Brooks. Shot clock at 6. Brooks drives in, gets the bounce. That one won't go, but an offensive rebound by Hyatt. Smart for 3. Air ball caught by Dickinson. Eli Brooks, the big first half, bounces it to Dickinson. They work it around, back into the hands of Brooks. His three's good. Still only 1 turnover tonight for LSU.
Oh, they have this like little 1-3-1 defense that morphs into a man-to-man when the ball gets passed into the corner.
In the corner is Brooks.
Brooks cutting into the corner. He locates Brown, who knocks it down. But, you know, to put it in perspective, Cam Thomas is number 6 in the nation in free throws per game. That's a good move. But, and you know what? You can see LSU in the half-court defensively. LSU has opened up its biggest lead of the night. Brown steps into a 3, and he connects. Shawnee Brown off the bench has provided a spark. Be the starter this year till they realize how good Hunter Dickinson was.
Well, he started the first 5 games, then had a foot injury as Brown comes in for the dunk.
Great pass.
Michigan riding a 6-0 run.
Oh, throw it to the big guy.
Brown, it's a 9-0 run.
Oh, he ends up completely wide open. Like Cam Thomas gets completely lost, or Javonte Smart. I mean, you can't be any more open than that. LSU in the half court, not LSU in the full court. I can tell you that.
6 minutes to go. Brown, another 3.
Alright guys, I'm back, and as promised, here is the description of every single player. If you couldn't see it, I apologize for that. Here is the actual rundown of each player and who did well. So obviously we have Brandon Johns Jr., who played for 27 minutes. He had 5 rebounds and 7 points, 0 assists. Now obviously those 7 points did help us win the game. He didn't play the best game that he did in the earlier game. But again, this was a tougher team than in the round of 64 because that team was a 16 seed where we played an 8-seeded team. And that was just a problem. Now, obviously, we have Hunter Dickinson, who had 31 minutes, 11 rebounds, which was a crucial factor. We needed those. 3 assists and 12 points. Franz Wagner had 33 minutes, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 15 points. And here are the 2 best players. Eli Brooks, 32 minutes, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 21 points. Mike Smith, obviously, he had 32 minutes, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, and 5 points. And now here's the other best player last night, came off the bench. Really phenomenal player. Shawnee Brown had 27 minutes, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 21 points. Austin Davis had 9 minutes, 1 rebound, 0 assists, and 1 point. And Terrence Williams had 9 minutes, 1 rebound, 3 assists, and 4 points. Now, obviously, yes, the players the players, like I said, the players that had scored 7, 5, 1, and 4 points, those points still contribute to winning the game ultimately. Even though they weren't the high scorers, the bench came off, helped. Terrence Williams came off, Austin Davis came off, and Shawnee Brown came off the bench, and they performed incredible. I mean, Jace, I think it's Jace. Is it Jace? I don't remember. One of the freshman kids, Jace, I don't want to say Howard. I don't think it's Juwan Howard's son. But one of the other kids, number 3, I can't remember his name right now. But he came off the bench in the round of 64, and he hit 2 threes and performed pretty well. And he didn't play last night, but it's okay. You play what you play. Coach Juwan Howard knows he's a smart guy. He'll empty the bench when he needs to. He'll keep the bench when he needs to. He'll move. He'll do starting lineups. Basically, it is kind of like a Steve Kerr kind of concept where he'll empty the bench, put in a different starting lineup each part of the game, and that's just a mental game. Try to get your team better. So obviously, those were the best players last night. I mean, we're Sweet 16 bound for the 4th consecutive year. This is great. I mean, Michigan has had a long history of very, very good organization around them and have built a perfect team this year. I think a very, very solid team. Obviously, Livers is down. They're doing it for Livers. They got to battle hard, just play well, got to play strong. This Florida State team that they will be playing is freaking phenomenal. Last night I watched them. They're big guys. They're all big. They're like basically guys that grow on trees. They're like 6'7" guys all around. So, I mean, yes. The problem with the LSU game, though, let's talk about that before I get into more of the Florida stats and why the Florida State could knock Michigan off. Obviously, I don't believe that. I think Michigan is a very strong team, and I think they still have a long way to go in this tournament. I want Zaga in the Final Four. I want Michigan to play them on April 3rd. I want that game to be physical, fast, and strong. But let's get back to the LSU. I digress. So, obviously, let's talk about why LSU did not win this game and Michigan did. The biggest factor is that LSU completely emptied the tank in the first half, and that was the worst decision by a coach. They played too fast and too physical, and there was no team ball. Everyone was standing on an island, basically. There was like, I'm over here, you're over here, I'm up here, I'm down here, nothing. There was also mismatches. They didn't have a big giant center in to counter Austin Davis and Hunter Dickinson. Obviously, Austin Davis did not play that much. Hunter Dickinson had 4 fouls. He had to come out. Austin Davis was performed well and stuff. And Wagner had 3, so we had some foul trouble. But we still won the game ultimately. A win's a win in my book. Still got the win. But mentally, sometimes, even though you say a win's a win, by winning by 1 point, you can be like, oh, that's not good. We want to win by more. The team that loses is like, oh, that's good. They weren't that much better than us. They were slightly better than us. But again, a win's a win in this case. And so, yes, we won by 8 points. I mean, that's a good game. That's a pretty solid lead there. I feel that Michigan is doing well. 22-4 is their record right now. But that's the problem with LSU. They played too fast and physical, and they got gassed. They were basically, the term analogy is Super Bowl, Brady versus Falcons. Falcons used up their basic energy. They used up too much of it. And the other team was able to come back and dig themselves out of the grave, basically dig themselves out of the hole, and win the game. And that's what Michigan did. They dug themselves out because they just kept hitting threes, but then Michigan just came back, started hitting threes of their own, and the defense fell defensive breakdowns all around for LSU. Their team was getting way too tired. See, basketball is a mental sport and and physiology as well. You've got to be mentally strong, and you've also got to be physically strong. You can't get tired out. The problem is that Michigan was not tired out, and they were able to keep subbing people in and out. LSU, they kept on coming out with that great player on their team who had 28 points, their point guard, freshman, spectacular player. But that's the problem. You can't do that. And LSU just completely croaked out, and they didn't win. So, obviously, those are my thoughts. So I'll catch you back, and then we'll talk about Florida State. All right, guys, so let's talk about Florida State, Michigan's next matchup in the Sweet 16. Let's see how Michigan's going to play against this team. Obviously, this team is very big. They got large men all over the court. The point guards are freaking 6'6" and 6'5". I think that's their height. I don't know. You would have to look that up myself. I just think they're about that height. I think they could be taller. The center is obviously the same height as freaking Hunter Dickinson, so that's going to be interesting. I mean, that's probably a good thing, though, because I believe it was the round of 64. Let's go back to that round. Obviously, Hunter Dickinson had a mismatch on the guy, but since the guy's so much shorter than him, he spins, he elbows him, and he puts up the shot. That's a flagrant one. He's gone from the game because that was his 5th foul. Now, initially, if Hunter Dickinson was playing against a 6'9" or a 6'10" center or someone almost in his height range, and he slams into that guy, he's not going to get a flagrant foul, and it's probably not going to be an offensive foul because he's going to hit him in the shoulder or something. So that might be a good thing for Dickinson playing against a bigger guy, but it also might be a problem. The biggest stat that Michigan needs to worry about is the rebounds. Now, obviously, the total rebounds for Michigan last night was 37, and LSU had 30. The offensive rebounds were 5, and LSU had 9. But we were able to crash the boards more, and that's why we won. So, obviously, Florida State got to play physical all game. I mean, yes, our guys are short. Sometimes being short is a gift. Sometimes it's a bad thing because you can't get it over the guy. Other times it might be good because you're coming off screens, and other times you could sell charges and stuff. Bad calls last night. I mean, on both sides of the ball, I'm not going to be biased here by saying, oh, well, that shouldn't have... I'm not going to be biased by saying, yeah, Mike Smith had his feet set and that should have been an offensive foul. Yes, it should have been an offensive foul, but I'm not going to be biased by saying, oh, there was all bad calls on Michigan. It didn't go Michigan's way. They won the game anyway. Personally, I think the LSU game was the biggest problem because they're both playing physical and the refs were just complete garbage on both sides. I feel like every year when March Madness starts, the refs are not always the best. Like even if you're not watching the team that you have winning it all or the team that you believe that's going to win it all, there's always some problem. And yeah, so I feel Florida State and Michigan are going to have like that problem again. There's probably going to be like, oh, that was not a call. Oh, that was not a call. Oh, that's a call. That's not a foul. That's a foul. Oh, that's a flagrant foul. Oh, that's this. So be aware, guys, in the next round, obviously, that Michigan may have some of those wonky, wackadoo calls that just do not seem to go their way. And then, obviously, it might happen the same way on Florida State. So, this is the problem. Don't get salty or angry about, like, oh, that should have been a call. That's bullcrap. That should have been a call. That should have been a call. No. If it's not a call on if it's not a call on Florida State, and chances are the refs are going to call it the same way on Michigan, it's not going to be a call on Michigan. Therefore, you've got to call it both ways. You can't, if it's a foul on Michigan and it's the same identical scenario and Florida does the same thing, slams your guy to the ground, then it's a charge on freaking Florida. It's a charge on Michigan in the same scenario. You cannot call one way and you cannot call one the other way. If his feet were not set and the other player's feet were not set, then it's a blocking foul. My point is, you've got to call it both ways. You cannot say, oh, this team has this and this team has that. I want this team. The refs have to call it a different way. So those are all my thoughts on Michigan, and they played a phenomenal game. We're Sweet 16. I'm hoping we don't get knocked out. Please do not get knocked out. I do not want to see a repeat of 2019 of Texas Tech knocking us out. And I think we'll get to the Elite Eight, and we're the last Big Ten team standing. So we just got to play hard and play physical and hope that we represent the big conference and win ultimately and punch out and win and just get the games and play against Alabama in the Elite Eight and play physical in that, and then play some really tough teams. I mean, we're going to play Florida State, we could play Alabama, then we could play Gonzaga, and then play Baylor. We could have 4 tough teams. Anyway, those are all my thoughts, guys. Until next time, I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to stay radical, and go blue.